Guys, welcome back to the Monkey Show. My name is Alex. Hope you're having a great time wherever you are. Today's tutorial is going to be the first of many major tutorials for the new year. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can build this particular travel blog by making use of WordPress. Now, we're going to use a particular theme here called the Astra theme, which is one of the most popular themes of all time. Now, the truth is, this particular travel blog we're going to build is very similar to the one I built last year. I actually have the tutorial here on YouTube called the Elementor Complete Tutorial 2022, build a full website with Elementor. So the difference here is that unlike this tutorial where I used Elementor, in this one, we're going to use the Astra theme, the free version of Astra, and then we're going to also use the Spectra page builder plugin, which works like Gutenberg, but it's also free. And it's also made by the same developers of the Astra theme. So we're going to use these two, the Astra theme and Spectra, to build out this travel blog. And let me give you a very quick preview of what we're going to have. We're going to have our header right here. We'll have the home page. We'll have the main banner. I'm going to show you how you can create the transparent header. Notice that the background image in here blends with the header. But then in other pages or on other pages, we don't have the transparent header. We do have the default black background color for the header. But let me go back to the home page, give you a bit more of a preview, and then we'll have the second section in here where we'll have this particular kind of layout. We're going to have our unique travel design layout as well, and then we'll have pictures being displayed in a slideshow. We'll have the blog section, and then finally we'll also have the sign up for our newsletter section as well. And then we're also going to build out the custom blog page where we'll display our blog post in this particular kind of grid format. And then finally, I'll show you how you can build out this simple yet very elegant contact page that will have the contact form on the left, and then we'll have an animation on the right. So the way this is going to work is that I'm going to provide you with all the images being used in this particular tutorial. So all these images you are seeing right here are images that I actually took on my own personal travels. I took every single image, every single picture you're looking at right here. And if you're interested in following me on Instagram and support me, please do follow me on Instagram, Charles Alexander. I travel quite a lot and I take pictures in all my travels. So if you're interested in travel vlogs and pictures and things like that, do give me a follow. Your support is highly appreciated. So just to give you one more quick tip, we're going to work with the free version of Astra first. Astra has two versions. You have the free version and then you have the paid version. Now, spoiler alert, you can do a lot more with the paid version of Astra. But the way this is going to work is that it will actually build out the site first by making use of the free version of Astra. So you don't have to buy anything to take this tutorial. But then if you're interested in working with the paid version of Astra, I'm going to show you later on in this course on what you can do with the paid version of Astra. So that part is going to be optional. Let me just say that I am an affiliate with Astra. So if you do decide to buy the paid version of Astra, please do use my affiliate link in the description box below. I'll have my affiliate link right there. It's a great way to support me and support what I'm doing here on this channel. So welcome once again. I hope you have a great time, and I do believe that by the end of this tutorial you would have learned enough about the Astra theme and the Spectra page builder plugin to build out this particular travel blog. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. Alrighty, let's get started. And there's quite a number of things you'll have to do before we begin building out the site. I have created 6 pages. As you can see them right here, I have the about page, blog page, contact, destinations, home, and then travel tips. So please go ahead, create this 6 pages. There's nothing in them for the moment. And then you come down here to your settings, go to general. And then right here, you can see I have changed the site title to Passport Travel. I have also changed the default tagline to Where Travel Meets Adventure. And then in reading section, I have changed the homepage display to a static page. So the homepage, I have set it to the home page. And then the post page, I have set it to blog. All right. And then once you're done with this, you can go ahead to install the Astra theme. Okay, so we're looking for Astra. By the way, when you type in Astra, please do not make the mistake. I've actually had a few people make this mistake already. There's another theme called Astral. It's not Astral, it is Astra. Okay, so please go ahead and install Astra, activate the Astra theme, and then you want to install a plugin called Spectra. It's the one right here, Spectra. It basically helps to extend the Gutenberg functionality, and it works very, very, very well with the Astra theme. In fact, it's the same developer of the Astra theme that developed Spectra as well. So please go ahead, install, and then activate the Spectra plugin. And then once you're done with all of that, you could come down here to Appearance, go to Menus, and then create the main menu. You can call it main menu, and then simply add blog, destinations, travel tips, about contact. There is no need to add the home page to the main menu because the logo will be the link to the home page. And then down here, don't forget to set the main menu to be the primary menu down here. Okay, so make sure this checkbox is ticked, and then you can simply save your menu. And then I am going to provide you with all the images used in this particular course. So I'll provide you with the zipped folder. Once you extract the zip folder, you will see these images and more. And then I'm also going to provide you with the XML file for the posts. I've created 10 different posts in here, and they all have their own featured image. As an example, Beauty of Edinburgh, let me just show you what's in here. It's just basically lorem ipsum text. It's all just dummy text. So you will have the title, you will have some paragraphs of text, and then you can also attach the featured image to the post. So I'm going to provide you with the XML file for these 10. You can import the XML file. We have 3 different categories: Europe, Asia, South America, and 10 posts in total. So when you're done with all of this, this is what your home page should look like. Something very, very, very similar. And by the way, let's do one more thing. I'm going to go back to the back end, and we'll come down here to Appearance and then go to Customize. Okay, we're going to change one setting with Astra. One of the things I love about Astra theme is that they provide you with plenty of options for customization, even with the free version of the theme. So what you want to do is you want to go to Global, okay, and then you can go to Typography, and then right in here, this, by the way, is very, very subjective. There is no best font or anything like that. Personally, I do like to use Montserrat as either as my header text or my regular text. So right here where you have base font, you can click on body font and then simply choose the particular font that you want to use. So instead of inherit, you can come in here and simply type in whatever font you want to use, like Montserrat, Anonymous Pro, and so on. And then you can do the same for the heading font as well. However, Astra comes with some presets. So you can see we've got the presets up in here, and there is a preset here that says you will have the heading for Montserrat, and then the font family itself for the regular text will be the Source Sans Pro. I do like this preset, so I'm going to go ahead now and choose this preset, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead now and simply hit publish, and there it is. I'm going to go ahead now and close this. Let's go back to the home page, and this is what you should have once you are done. So go ahead, get all of these things done, and join me in the very next video where we'll now go ahead and begin to create the header for our site. Welcome back. So now let's go ahead and build out the header. Right now, as it is, we do have the site title being displayed, and then we have the main menu on the right. It's not too bad, but we would rather have a logo as opposed to the site title being displayed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the customize button right here. This will take us straight to the back end where we can customize the header. So right here, you'll see header builder. I'm going to click inside. And then right here, you can see we have the structure layout for the header. We have the site title and logo on the left, and then we have the primary menu on the right. You do have the option to like drag these items around if you wanted to have like a different style for your header, but I'm going to go with the default. All right, so we'll simply have the site title and logo on the left, and then the primary menu on the right. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to add a black background color to our header. So I'm going to click on this gear button right here. Okay, click inside, go to design, and then right here we have background. I'm going to click inside, and I'm going to go with color 9. This is going to be the black background color. So I'm going to choose that one. All right, let's go back. now I'm going to click inside the site title and logo link in here. We're going to select a logo. All right, and you should see this logo available for you in the media library. I'm going to click on select, and then just make sure we're going to crop everything. So make sure everything is highlighted, crop the image, and there it is. Okay, so this is a little bit very large. Okay, so we're going to bring this down to, let me just check my notes right here, 250 pixels. Okay, so I've got 250 pixels for the width for the logo. All right, and right down here where you have the site title visibility, you want to uncheck all three of these. Okay, these are for desktop, for tablet, and then for the mobile. Okay, so we don't want to show the site title and visibility at all. And then site title and visibility, make sure these are all unchecked as well. Okay, that's that for the logo. Now on the design, if you wanted to, for some reason, you could add things like margins, and if you are indeed displaying the tagline or your site title in your header, this is where you could customize the color of the text. Just wanted to let you know. All right, I'm going to go back. Now let's go over to the primary menu, click inside, and then we're going to go over to the design, and then we're going to come down here to the menu color, and then where you have text link, I'm going to click inside and then choose white, and there it is. Then we're going to come down here to the menu font, click inside. What we're going to do here is we're going to change the format and make it all caps. Okay, so it's all capital letters right there. And then for the actual size, what we're going to do is we're going to increase the font size just a little bit to 18 pixels. 18 pixels, there it is. And then we're going to make it a little bit bold. So where you have inherit, I'm going to come in here right now and choose semi bold for 600, and there it is. Okay, we're almost done. One more thing we do need to do though is we need to set the header to go full width. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to go back right down here where you have design. Okay, now I'm going to go with full width, and there it is. Let's go ahead now, hit publish. Let's close this, and there it is. We now have our header all built out with the logo on the left and then the main menu on the right. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Alrighty, so now that we have the header built out, it is now time to begin to work on the home page. And we're going to build out the very first main section, which is going to be the banner. And this is what we're trying to accomplish in this video. We're going to have the main background image right there. We'll have the main tagline where travel means adventure. We'll have the two buttons, view the blog, contact us. And then notice that we do have the transparent header blending in with the background image. But the interesting thing here is that this particular transparent header is unique to the home page, because the other pages like destinations, for example, travel tips, all the other pages will keep the default black background colors. I'm going to show you how you can set up a transparent header specifically for the home page. Let me drag this away. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is to hide the home text here. We don't need to see that. So I'm going to click on home right here and then click on the I button to hide the text. Let's go ahead now and add our very first block, which will be the container block under Spectra. Choose the very first option, which is the one column layout. And then I'm going to come down here to container. Make sure container width is set to full width. Content width is set to boxed. And then for the minimum height, I'm going to set this to 750 pixels. Okay, 750. And then from here, we're going to go over here to style. On the background type, go with the third option, which is image. So I'm going to choose the Polynesian image right there, select, and there it is. I'm going to go ahead now and update. And let's just see what we've done so far. Okay, let's take a look. And there it is. Okay, all right, good start, good start. Let's keep on moving. Go back to edit page. Now I'm gonna add the main tagline where travel meets adventure. Okay, so you might not see it, but there's the plus button right here that says add block. So I'm gonna click inside, go to browse all. We're gonna choose the heading right there. Okay, and now we're going to type simply, I'm going to even use the capital letters, where travel meets adventure. Okay, all right. I'm gonna go over here to style, and we're gonna make some changes. The color for the text, obviously, we're gonna go with white. So choose white, FFFFFF. That's the hexadecimal value. And then for the actual size, we're gonna come over here to typography. Click on the pen button right there. For the font size, I have gone very large. I have 100 pixels here, 100 pixels. And then the weight, we're going to set that one to 500. And then the style, we're going to go with italic. Okay. And then we're also going to align the text to the center. So alignment, make that one in the center right there. Now you would notice instantly that the text isn't that visible. I mean, it kind of like, for example, the adventure, which I've misspelled, all right, kind of blends in with the sand. So we need to add like a overlay dark color to the background image so that the text is a bit more visible. Okay, so I'm going to click on the container right now. Okay, by editing the container, I'm going to head over back to style. And then right here, I'm going to come down and then you'll see overlay type. I'm going to go with the classic. And then where you have image overlay color, I'm going to click inside. And then for the hexadecimal value in here, I've actually chosen one. I do have 262020 and then 75. And there it is. So it's slightly reddish black in a way. I do like this particular shade, but feel free to go with your own shade of color if you prefer. And there is that. Okay, the next thing we're going to do right now would be to add our buttons. So right here where you have this button in here inside the image, I'm going to click in there, go to browse all, and then you will have the buttons right here for Spectra. Let's choose them. And then what we're simply going to do is I'm going to click inside the very first one in here, and then just change the text, make sure it's capital letters as well. I'm going to say view the blog, and then same goes with the second one, contact us. Okay, now to edit the actual blocks themselves, I'm going to go over here to style and then typography, and then in here we can increase the size a little bit. Let's go with 18 pixels. Same goes with the second one as well. I'm just going to type in 18 pixels there as well. And then if you want to add the links, okay, let's go with the first one right now. You can simply go to general, and then down here where you have content, you can simply add the link right there. So I'll say / and then blog. Okay, and then you can also enable icons if you want to. For example, you can enable the icon. You come in here right now, and then you can choose whatever icon you want to go with, but I'm going to keep things very simple. No need for the icon. I'm going to go to contact us as well, and then also just change the link right here to contact -us, and there it is. I'm going to go ahead now and simply update. Let's view the page. And there it is. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. One more thing we need to do right now will be to set the transparent header so that it blends in with our background image. Now, how do we do this? I'm going to go back to edit page. And then up here on the right, you will see we have this thing called the Astra settings specifically for this page. So I'm going to click in there. And then right here, you could choose a particular kind of layout for your specific page. I'm sticking with the default in here, which is full width. And then right here, you have disable elements. If for some reason you wanted to disable the header or footer, you do have the options in here. But what we're interested in is under the advanced settings. So right here, I'm going to go with the transparent header. I'm going to say enabled. Okay, let's close that one, update. And now I'm going to view the page. And voila, that's it. We now have the transparent header right there. And we're going to make just 2 more changes real quick. The first thing I want to do here, though, is to change the actual font family for our main menu. Montserrat is fine, but I do prefer a different style, which would be Oswald. Okay, so I'm going to change my font family here to Oswald. And then secondly, we're also going to make the actual background image right here a bit more visible. The Kano, I don't know if you, I think that's what you call it, right? This very small shape right here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So in the model right here, you can see that the Kano right here is a bit more visible. On our website right now, you don't actually see much of the Kano. So we're going to make this a bit more visible. Now, how do we actually do that? Let's go back to edit the page. Okay, and then I'm going to come down here to the container again, container, under style, and then right here where you have the image position, you have left, you have top. I have tested this out and I do know that 63 for the left and then the top for 75 will actually show a bit more of the Kano. So feel free to play around with these options if you want to highlight a different part of the image if you wanted to. But I'm going to go ahead now, update, view the page real quick. And there it is. So we now have more of the Kano. And then last but not least, the main menu. Let's click on customize instead. So I'm going to change this real quick. Let's go over to our header builder, go to the primary menu, go to design, and then let's look for typography right here where you have menu font. Click inside, and then font family, I'm going to go with Oswald. All right, I'm going to choose Oswald, and there it is. And then for the font size, we're going to keep it on 18, but for the font weight, let's try medium 500. That's actually a bit still too heavy. Let's go with normal 400, and there it is. So I'm going to go ahead now and hit publish. And voila, let's go back, and there it is. We do have the very first main section for the home page. We have our banner, blending in with the transparent header. We have the main tagline where travel meets adventure, and then we also have our buttons, view the blog, contact us, and then of course for the other pages we'll also have the actual default header with the black background color. So that's it for building out the very first section for our homepage. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Alright, so let's continue building out the home page, and next up we're going to add our second section where we're going to add this particular kind of layout where we'll have a header, text paragraph, a button, and then we'll have an image on the right. And then for the second row, we'll simply have the reverse. So let's go ahead and build this out. Let's edit the page, and we're going to come down here to the back end. And then of course, we're going to add a container yet again. But this time we're going to go with the 4 container or 4 column layout here. It's basically the 4th choice. So let's choose that one. So for the very first container in here, we're going to add a header. And my header basically says in capital letters, we love to travel. And then let me just grab, I have some dummy text in here. Let's add the dummy text next. So make sure that you're adding the text inside of the container. You should have this plus button inside of the container. So please make sure that that's what you're doing. So I'm going to add a new block. Now, the interesting thing about the Spectra plugin is that it doesn't have a paragraph block, which I personally find to be very interesting. So we're just going to go with the default paragraph block provided by Gutenberg, and it's the very first block in here on that text. So I'll choose paragraph, and then inside I'm simply going to paste this dummy text in here. For the header, let's align it to the center. So right here, alignment, I'll choose center. And then finally, we're going to add a button. So again, we're going to make sure that we're adding it inside of this container. Okay, again, not outside, but inside. So click in there, and then we'll add buttons, and then we'll remove the second button because we don't need it. Let's remove that button, and then we'll just change the text in here to, let's say, learn more, in capital letters, by the way. So let's go with learn more. Okay, now over here on the right, we're going to add the image block. Let's go to our media library, and we're going to choose the one with the youths. I actually took this picture in Istanbul. This were university or college students. Now, this brings me to this particular issue, which you may experience sometimes when you're trying to upload an image with the Spectra image block. You may get this kind of error message telling you that the image has an empty alt attribute or something like that. I don't know what this is. I think it's maybe a bug. Hopefully, when you take this course, Spectra will have fixed, the developers of Spectra will have fixed the bug with a new update. But for now, there seems to be this particular issue. So what I'm going to do is to simply click on replace and then simply use the upload method instead. So just in case you run into this issue, instead of uploading from a media library, you can simply go to upload from a computer and you should be fine. So I'm going to upload that one. The other alternative would be to use the default image block provided by Gutenberg, but I do prefer the one by Spectra because it gives us a lot more options. So we have the image in here. Make sure the image size in here is set to full size. Okay, and then let's go back to the main container, and then right here where you have content width, we're going to go with full width. Okay, and then you go to style, go to spacing, and then where you have padding, we're going to remove all the padding and make the padding simply 0 pixels. All right, so let's go ahead now and do the same for the third and fourth columns. So the third column, again, we're going to go with image. I'm going to go with upload, and we're uploading this image, the bound fits. And then for the fourth column, again, we're simply going to add our heading, align to the center. This one I've written travel to the best places. Okay, and then again, we're going to add our paragraph text. Again, make sure you're adding the block inside of the container. So paragraph block, let me paste that one. And then finally, we're going to add our button. Again, make sure you're adding it inside of this container, which can be a little bit tricky sometimes. Okay, just click around, make sure that the plus button is inside of this container holding the header and the paragraph text. So plus, and then buttons. Again, I'm going to click on the second one, remove the button, and then we're going to change the text in here to learn more. All right, and then of course that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead now and update, and let's take a look at what we currently have. Let's view the page and see what we have, and there it is. So not too bad. We can make a few adjustments, like the spacing, for example. We can get the images or the two rows a bit closer. So to achieve this, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to edit page. Okay, and then we're going to go to the main container. By the way, if you're ever having any issues trying to select a particular container or a column, don't forget you can use the button in here for the list view. You click in there, and then right here you can simply navigate and choose whichever container you want to work with. So in order to eliminate the spacing between the first and second rows, we're going to go over here to style. Okay, and then right here you will see the row gap. The default value here is set to 20. We're going to bring this down to 0. Okay, and then next I'm going to click on the container holding the very first image, which is going to be the second container in here. I'm going to go to spacing, and then right here we're going to remove the padding. Okay, so the padding here is set to 0, and then we're going to do the same thing for the third container holding the second image. Padding in here, we're going to set this one here to 0, and that's it. So I'm going to go ahead now, update. and then view the page. And I'm going to scroll down, and there it is. So you can see right now it is pretty close. The images are pretty close together. You can actually make them join. You may not know this, but actually the columns, the containers are set to 48% each. Let me quickly show you. I'm going to go back to edit the page, open it in a new tab. So let me click on the first container in here. Let me use the list view. So container 1, if I was to go to container under general, you can see that the custom width here is set to 48%. Same thing with the second container, the third one, and the fourth one, and so on. This is deliberate in order to create some spacing between the containers. So you can actually go ahead and increase them to 50% if you wanted to, but I am going to stick with the default, which is 48%. One last change I want us to do right now is to actually increase the height of the very first main banner right here. We set the initial value to be 750 pixels. I want to increase it to 900 pixels because right now it really doesn't look that great. You know, we don't want people to see this banner and then begin to see the second section in here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to the very first container in here, and then 750 right here where you have the minimum height, we're going to set that one to 900. Let's update. And then you will see instantly it's going to be a lot better. And there you go. So now you can see it's a lot better. And we can even increase the height even more so that on the desktop view, people won't even see the second section at all. All they will see would be the main banner occupying the full width and height of the screen. So you can do that. You can increase the height to about 950 or even 980 pixels, but we'll keep it at 950. One other slight adjustment we could also do, we could add some additional padding on the sides for the text blocks so that the text is a bit more organized. Let me quickly show you. So for example, I can go to the first container in here holding this text, and then we go to style, we go to spacing. Now the default here has been set to 10 pixels, but I am going to unlink the values, okay? And then for right, I'm going to increase this one to 30 pixels, okay? And then also for the left, we can increase it to 30 pixels as well. Let's do the same for the fourth container. Again, unlink the values, make this one 30 pixels. And then the last one on the left, make it 30 pixels as well. Update. And now let us view the page. And there you go. So right now you can see that the text is now slightly bit more to the center. It's a bit more presentable than what it was initially. You could also align the text to the center if you wanted to, but I'm going to keep it as it is right now. So thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Welcome back. So let's continue building out the home page. And for the third section, we're going to go with a very interesting layout in here where we basically have 3 containers inside of one main container. However, the third container actually has 3 columns where we have these info boxes for featured destinations, travel guides, and then affordable tickets. So how do we create this kind of layout? I'm going to show you. Let's go ahead right now, and we're going to add the new container. We're going to go with the 3-column layout in here. Okay, now check this out. Okay, what I'm going to do is to simply go over to the flex properties for the parent container down here, and then when you have the direction, the default here is set to row. I'm going to go with column. So now you can see we have the columns stacking up on top of each other. So let me go ahead right now and simply add the very first block, which is going to be the title, our unique travel design. So let's click inside the first container in here, add our heading, and then I will paste our unique travel design. Let's align that to the center. And then for the second, we do have some text. Let me go ahead right now and add the paragraph text, and then paste the block of text right there. And then last but not least, we do now have the third container that actually has 3 columns. So how are we going to achieve this layout? Well, first thing we'll do is to simply add the very first block, which is actually going to be the info box block. It's the one right here. So I'm going to add that. Okay. Now, before we add the remaining two info boxes, because we're going to duplicate this box, the very first one, twice, it will save us time if we actually made the necessary edits to the very first info box in here. So what I'm saying right now is this, okay? First things first, we're going to go over here to the select source for the icon. We're going to switch from icon now to image under general. Okay, so let me go ahead right now and upload the very first image, which is going to be this one right here. So we're going to select that, and then the title here is featured destinations. Let me go ahead and then click inside here and then change that text. Now for the color for this text, I actually have the value right here. Let me show you. We're going to go over here to style. So we're going to come down here to title, and then we're going to go with color. So the color I have here is DCA and then 57D. That's the color, orange. Okay, and then we need to create some spacing between the image and the title. So one thing we could do is we could go to the icon image first right here, and then where you have padding, we can add some padding to the bottom. Let's go with something very, very simple. Let's say 5 pixels. And there it is. So now we're ready to duplicate this particular column twice. So I'm going to go over here right now, duplicate, and then duplicate one more time. Okay, so how do we now get them to align next to each other like in a row format? What we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the container holding these 3 info boxes, and then on the general where you have flex properties, we're going to switch from column to row, and there it is. Now we're going to need to extend the width from 33% now to 100%, and there it is. And then we'll just do the same for the second container in here as well. Extend the width to 100, and then the final container in here, the first one, set that to 100% as well. Let me make a few quick changes to the titles and the images for the info boxes. So let's go to general, image icon, change this image real quick to this one. And then let me change the text to travel guides. And then last but not least, we have affordable tickets. So let me paste that right there, and then also change the image in here to the tickets. And there it is. Okay, all right. Now for the main container right now, the parent one, we're going to add a background color. So we're going to go over here to style, and then type on the background. We're going to go with color. And then the color I do have in here is very, very simple. It is F8, F8, F8. And then we can also add some padding as well. Okay, so we'll come down here to spacing, unlink the values, and then we're going to give spacing 50 pixels on top and then 50 pixels at the bottom. Let's go ahead now and update, and let's see what our page looks like. Open this in a new tab. Let's scroll down, and there you go. Not bad at all. There is one more thing we do need to do though, because the unique travel design has this very nice kind of like a separator line underneath. So let me show you how you can add this particular kind of effect. Let's go back. We're going to go to our unique travel design header right here, and then right here you'll see separator under general. So I'll choose separator. Style is going to be solid. Okay, and then we're going to go over here to style, and then we're going to come down here to separator, and then right now you can see we can extend the width, make it a bit wider. I think let's go with 43% should be fine. And then color, we simply go with the black color. And then for the spacing, well, we can reduce the bottom spacing in here to 0. Go to the heading as well, heading, and then reduce bottom spacing to 0 as well. Actually 0 is a bit too much. Let's go with 5. Okay, so there's a little bit of some spacing in there. And there it is. There it is. Separator. Let me just see if we can maybe make the thickness a little bit less. So we go with 1 pixel for the thickness. And there it is. Let's update. And let's refresh the page and view what we have one more time. And there it is, our unique travel design. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. The next thing we're going to do is to add an image carousel of images from around the world, basically. So it's going to be something like this. So let me go ahead now and add the container. All right, and then inside of this container, we're going to go ahead now and add the new block we're going to be working with, and that's going to be the gallery block. It's the one right here, image gallery. So I'm going to choose that one. Okay, and then we can choose the images for the gallery. So I'm going to click on select images. So the images we're going for, we're going to go with this first one right here, this one, and we're going to go with this one as well. We need 6 images. And we're going to go with the last 2 right here. We're going with these ones specifically because they do have similar height and width dimensions. So I'm going to go ahead now, click on create a new gallery. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead now and insert into the gallery. And there it is. Okay, so by default, we do have the grid type for the gallery, but we're going to go instead with the carousel. Okay, and then we're going to go with 2 columns instead. And then right down here where we have carousel, right here, we can go with the starting image of 2 images first. Okay, and then the transition speed in here is 500. We can keep that as it is. And then you can also modify other things like the infinite carousel, display the dots, display the arrows, which we're actually going to disable. I don't want to display any arrows at all. And then if you got captions, you can also enable captions as well. So basically when somebody hovers on the image, the caption will pop out. But my images don't have any captions at all. So I'll just go ahead right now and disable the captions. But if your images do have captions, you can allow them to be displayed. Okay, next up, we're going to go over here to style. All right, and then in here, we do have the effects where we can do things like zoom out as opposed to zooming in. You can enable a blur overlay as well, so you can add like a blur amount to your images, which I don't really know if I like that, so I'm going to disable the blur effect. And then in here we do have the grayscale effect, where the images will be black and white until the user hovers on the image. That's when the color will come out. And then you've got the sepia effect as well. So all these options, you do have them. I'm just going to go with none for now. And then down here where we have spacing, we're actually going to remove the gap between the images, so no spacing at all between the images. We're going to choose now the main container holding the gallery, and gonna, of course, make sure that the content width right here is set to full width. Okay, so container width and then content width are both set to full width. Let's go ahead now and update, and let us view the page. Let's see what we have. All right, scroll down, and there it is. That is our image gallery right there, displaying images from across the world. And very simple, very easy to create. And again, you do have access to other options or other ways of displaying your images. You can display them in a grid format, you can display them in a carousel format, and so on. So going back in here, you've got grid, you've got mesomery, you've got tiled. So I would encourage you to play with these options in your free time. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Alrighty, we're moving on. The next section we're going to display would be the blog section, something very similar to this right here, where we'll say something like visit our blog, and then we'll have like 2 or 3 blog posts, and then we'll have like the button that will take the user to the actual blog page. So let's go ahead right now and set that up. I'm going to go in here right now, add my container, go with the 1 column layout. The first thing we're going to add in here would be the header block. So I'm going to grab the text in here that says visit our blog, align to the center. Let's go with the separator, solid. And we're going to go over here to style, and then we're going to come down here to separator. The width, we're going to make it a little bit wide. I think 27% is fine. Thickness is going to be 1. Color is going to be black. And then bottom spacing, let's go with 0 for the bottom spacing. And then for the actual heading, let's come down here to bottom spacing and then set this one to 5. Okay. Next up right now would now be to add the block for our post. So I'm going to click inside in here. Again, make sure that you are adding the block inside of this container. So I'm going to add the block. And the block we're looking for right now is going to be the post grid. Now you do have 3 different ways of displaying your post. You have the post carousel, the post grid, and then the post timeline. But we're going to go with the post grid, and there it is. So a few things real quick. On the general, let's change the post per page from 6 to 3. Columns, we're going to keep that one on 3. Equal height, yes. Make sure this button right here is checked. Okay, that's for general. Now for the read more link, I'm actually going to hide the read more link. We don't need to display the link because when a user clicks on the title of the post, it will take them to the actual post itself, so there's no need. All right, for the content area right here, let's hide the comment. We don't need to display the number of comments. And then for the words and the accept, let's increase this one to actually like something like 30 pixels. Okay, give it a bit more content. And there it is. Last but not least, we're going to add our button. So again, I'm adding the button inside of the main container. So buttons, click on the second one, remove the button, and then we're going to click in here, and in capital letters, we're going to say visit the blog. And then I'm going to go over here to content, add the link right here, / and then blog. And there it is. Let's go ahead now, update. And let us view the page. Scroll down here. And there it is. Very, very, very simple, very clean. No clutter at all. And that's how to add the blog section on our homepage. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Alrighty, so the very last section we're going to add to our homepage is going to be the section where we'll encourage our visitors to subscribe to our newsletter. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, the method I'm going to show you isn't the most effective. Typically, you'd want to sign up for an actual mailing platform like, let's say, MailChimp or ActiveCampaign, and then integrate your account on those platforms with your website. But for the purposes of this course, I'm going to show you how you can create a very simple newsletter form specifically with the Spectra plugin. So let's go ahead right now and add a container with the 2-column layout. The very first one in here will have the header, and let's just call this one the sign up for our newsletter. Okay, and then we're going to add a small paragraph of text. Let me use the list view to select the container because it can be very tricky adding blocks inside of these containers. So I'm going to add a new block right now, paragraph block, and let me paste some dummy text in here, and there it is. Okay, so sign up for our newsletter, blah 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 blah. All right, second column right now, this is where we're gonna add our new block, and that block is going to be the form block right here. So let's add the form block, and when you add the form, you will have 3 options: simple contact form, newsletter form, and then the suggestion form. We're going to go with the newsletter form. Okay, and then by default you will have name and then email, which is sufficient enough. This is basically all you need for your mailing list. We do have some options in here for like a preset. We have option 1, and then we have option 2, which I do prefer. So I'm going to go with the second preset. And then on the general, you can do things like change the field label. You can change the style from box to underlined. You can change the overall alignment confirmation type, things like that. And then this is where you can add your custom text for successful completions, or whenever there's an error, you can also modify the message that will be displayed. Okay, that's it for general. Down here where you have the submit button, We can modify how the button would look like. I do like this particular style where you have the button with like rounded corners. So I'm going to go with this option. And now this is where things get very, very, very important, the actions. So what happens once a user has actually submitted the form? Right here, the way the Spectra plugin works is that the entry, the name and email will be sent to your email address. So as an example, I'm going to go ahead right now and add my Gmail account in here. Okay. So I'm using this specifically for just testing purposes. So I've added my Gmail address in here, and then subject will be form submission. You can also integrate Google with Captcha if you wanted to, but I'm going to keep the default, which is not to enable Google with Captcha. So name, the field right here is set to required, as you can see. Email isn't set to required, but we want to make sure that the email field is also set to required. So simply click on the email field and then right here, check the box here that says required. A few changes we could possibly do. The newsletter header, we can separate or rather reduce the spacing between the header and the paragraph text. So we can come down here to style, and then where you have bottom spacing, simply set this one to 0. And then if you wanted to, you could still go with the same separator which we've applied before. Let's do that real quick. Add solid, go to style, and then come down here to separator. Width, we can make this about 673%, which is fine. Thickness, we can go with 1. And then bottom spacing, let's go with something like 5, which is the standard. And of course the color, we're going to make that one black. And there it is. All right, one last thing to do will be to add some padding to the main parent container. All right, so let's go over here to container. I'm sorry, not container, but rather style, and then spacing. And then right here where you have the padding, let's unlink the values. So top, I'm going to say 50 pixels. And then bottom, I will say 50 pixels as well. Let's go ahead right now to update. And let's view the page. Let's scroll down. And there it is. All right, sign up for a newsletter. We have name field, email field. So let's run a test, okay? I am going to say Dick Jones. Okay, and then email, let's say alex@thewebmonkeyonline.com. This is just as a test. I'm going to hit now submit, and it says the form has been submitted successfully. Now what I'm going to do very, very simply would be to open up my Gmail. Let me bring it out here. This is the Gmail account right here, and as you can see right now, I have gotten the entry saying this is the ID, this is the person's name, this is the person's email address, and of course I can then choose to transfer this information to like an Excel file or any other kind of platform out there. So that's it for adding the newsletter block to our homepage. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Alright, so now that we've finished building out the home page, it is now time to check out the blog page, which is of course the page that will contain all the posts in our blog. And the default blog page that we've already created, by default, this is how it would look like. This is how the Astra theme will display your blog page by default. And it's not really that bad. I mean, you have kind of like the featured image, you will have the title, you will have some meta description in here, like, you know, leave a comment, the category, and then the author's name, and then you will have the excerpt, and then you will have the read more link. And you can see right now we've got all the posts being listed here. You could make some slight adjustments. So if we were to go to customize as an example, we'll come down here to the blog link right here, and then we're going to go with the blog archive. So right here, you can choose to now begin to change things like the container layout. Let's say, for example, maybe you want something like a full width contain kind of layout, or you can go with like the full width stretched format, or you could even go with the narrow width, which is actually not that bad. It's actually quite nice and neat. So you do have these options in here, and then you can go with like a custom content width if you wanted to. And then here, this is where you can control the post structure. So again, by default, you have the featured image, and then you'll have title and then the blog meta. You can choose to switch it up. So you have the title coming up first instead, and then you have the featured image, and then you'll have the excerpt, things like that. So you do have these options in here. And of course, with the paid version of Astra, you will have access to even more options. However, if you don't want to go with the paid version of Astra and you want a bit more control, I'm going to show you exactly what we could do. I will first of all hit publish. Okay, even though we're not going to use this page, I'll hit publish nevertheless. Now, if we were to go to the actual page itself, the blog page, right? And I was to click on edit page, we would not be able to really modify the content, because you can see right now we have this message saying you're currently editing the page that shows your latest posts. So basically WordPress has control over this particular page. What we're going to do is I've created a new page called articles. So this page is going to replace the blog page. So I've gone with the new page called articles. You can go ahead right now, create your own articles page. I'm going to click edit. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to add a container, or in fact, we don't even need to add a container. We'll just go straight to browse all. And then right here, where we have our posts, again, we have the post carousel, we have post grid, and then we have the post timeline. Personally, I don't really like the post timeline that much. You could try it, but I'm just going to go with the post grid instead. And there it is. Right now, we can choose to add more posts. We can just go with like 100. Okay, make sure every single post is being displayed. So we have all the posts right there. So I'm going to go ahead right now and simply update. And now we can view the page. And there it is. So now this is a better way, in my humble opinion, of displaying your blog posts as opposed to the default blog page right here that just displays the posts on top of each other. I do like this grid format. So again, we now have all our posts been displayed. There seems to be an issue with the featured image for hiking to Mount Fitzroy. I'm not sure what's happening there, but nevertheless, we'll have our posts now being displayed in this particular format. And of course, unlike the blog page, the default blog page, right here, we can modify this page as much as we want. We can increase the length of our excerpt, for example. And then right here, we can even add the post timeline. Let me show you how it looks like. So we're going to go with the post timeline. And there it is. It's not, I mean, you can modify how it looks like over here. But again, it's not my favorite way of displaying our posts. But let me just show you nevertheless what it would look like. So view the page, and so down here you can see this is the post timeline. So you may like it, I don't know, you can choose to modify and change the way the posts are displayed. It's entirely up to you, but me personally, I like the post grid format. So let me just simply go back and remove the timeline display. And there it is. Okay, so let me remove post timeline, update. And there you go. All right, so view the page one more time. And there it is. So this is our new page right now for the blog. So the last thing to do right now would be to go to the main menu and simply replace the blog page with our articles page. So I'm going to go ahead right now and remove the blog page and then add the new one called articles. And then I'll drag that one to the top right here, save the menu. And there it is. Okay, so we've created our own custom blog page called articles. The last thing we're going to do in this video right now will be to modify the actual post page. So if I was to click on Beauty of Edinburgh, for example, what we have right here is we have the featured image, we have the title. So if you wanted to customize this particular page, you could go to customize again for the Astra theme. And then you could come down here to blog, and then you go to single post, And now this is where we can modify how it's going to look like. You can add the boxed format if you wanted to. And then for the sidebar layout, you could go with adding like a right sidebar. So by default, you will have like the search bar, recent posts, recent comments, archives, categories, things like that. And then of course in here, you can modify the content width as well. You can also enable related posts. So down here, you will have 2 related posts. Me personally, I like to go with 3. All right, and then change the column grid, the grid column layout to 3 as well. And there it is. I'm not sure why. All right, I think I know why. That's because we only have 3 posts for the Europe category. Had it been we had like 4 or 5, you would have the third post showing up in here. That's why we only have 2. So keep that in mind. Now, regarding the actual sidebar itself, if you wanted to modify this, let me quickly show you. It's the old school, backend thing. We're going to go to the backend of WordPress right now. So let's go to the backend. We're going to come down here to appearance, and then of course we have widgets. So this is where you can modify the contents of the sidebar. And there it is. So you have like the main sidebar right now with the search bar. You have recent posts, you have recent comments, archives, categories. So if you wanted to, you could come in here and add plus, and then you could add something like the social share. This one specifically by Spectra. So we can add that one, and then you have your presets in here, preset 1, preset 2, preset 3, all like the ones with the circles. You can go to content, and then you can choose the layout. Do you want it to be horizontal, vertical? We're going to keep ours on horizontal. And then of course under style, you can change things like the size, the background size, border radius, and so on. Now, if you wanted to modify the actual social media platforms available, right here, you will have this plus button. Okay, so you can click inside. And then one thing you want to do is when you add plus, by default, it will add Facebook for you. But then right here where you have type, you can come in here right now and simply choose the one that you wanted to go with. So say for example, let's go with Tumblr, for example. Okay, so now we have Tumblr. And if you wanted to delete any one of them, for example, let's say Pinterest, for example, right here, you can simply just click the delete, or you can even come right here and just simply choose remove social child, and that's it. We can remove Twitter as well. So now we only have Facebook, LinkedIn, Tumblr, and that's pretty much it. All right. Last thing though is we're going to align them to the left. So let's go over here to style. I'm sorry, under general content. So alignment is going to be on the left right there, and that's it. Update. And there it is. So now if I was to go to any one of my posts, say for example, Singapore, a magical country, right down here, now you have the social media icons available for the users to share this particular post on those platforms. If you wanted to add the header, let me quickly show you. For the header, right up here, make sure you have this button. This can be so annoying sometimes. All right, so you have the plus button in here. Make sure it's above. Just add the header, and then just simply say share on social media. All right, update, and there it is. Let's go back in here, refresh the page, and also scroll down here. Now you will see the 3 social media links right here, allowing the user to share it on social media. So for example, if I was to click on the Facebook link right there, now you can see it's gone straight to Facebook. I can now add a comment and then simply post this to my group or on Facebook in general. So that's how you could add the social media icons to allow users to share your content, your blog posts on social media. So that's it for building out our custom blog page and modifying the individual blog post pages as well. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Alrighty, so the very last page we're going to build out will be the contact page. Now, we could build the page very, very quickly by simply adding the contact form. Let me quickly show you. Click on edit page, come in here, type in form, we add form, choose the contact form, and then we can simply update. And we can then view the page. And just like that, in less than 30 seconds, we have our contact form. We could do this, but I don't want this page to be very boring. I want to add a bit more fun and animation. So let me introduce you to something called the Lottie files. You may have heard of this particular website. In here, you can get custom animations that are extremely light in size, and best of all, many of them are actually free. So you can go ahead right now, create your account with them. If you already have an account, simply log in, and then when you have the search bar right there, I'm going to type in contact, press enter. Let me give you a pro tip. You can select where you have price, simply select free, and you get all the ones that are absolutely free of charge. So I do like this one right here, the one with the darkish blue form. So I'm going to click inside. This will take us to the animation page right here. Over here, you can actually customize the speed, the background color, the color palette, and so on. And then you can also download the animation in various formats. You have the Lottie JSON, the zip archive, GIF, and so on. But for the Spectra block plugin, the one that works best is the actual insert from URL. So I'm going to grab this URL right here. I'm going to copy the actual link for the animation. Let's go back in here to our contact page. Let's edit the page. And now let's do this properly. So I'm going to remove this, remove the form. Let's go back, add a container, 2-column layout, go back in here, add the form, contact form. All right, I'm going to go with the second preset. And then let's go to general, and then you can customize the success message text, the error message text, and so on. The submit button, I'm going to go with the style I like, and then actions, again, let's add the onialex14@gmail email address right there. So anytime anybody submits this particular form, we will get this in the Gmail account. And then, of course, for style and so on, you can make all those modifications. I'm going to click on the email field, make sure it is set to required. And there it is. Okay. Next is going to be the second container where we're going to add the Lottie animation. So I'm going to type in Lottie in the search bar. So here we have our Lottie animation. And now I'm going to go with the insert from URL. And I'm now going to paste the link I copied. And I'm going to click on the link right here to now apply. And there it is. Let's go ahead right now and update. And now let us view our newly improved contact page with the Lottie file animation. And there you go. This is a much better contact page than the boring one we initially created. So that's it for the contact page. Of course, you can modify this further by adding some text as well, like, fill out the form below and we'll contact you back in less than 24 hours or things like that. And if you wanted to, you could add that text. But I like this very simple format. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. So now let me show you how you can make use of a special feature with the Astra theme, and that's going to be the starter templates provided by the Astra theme. As an example, we're trying to build the about page, but let's say we don't want to build from scratch. We just want to get a pre-built template and then modify the templates. We can make use of the starter templates, and to do so, we're going to have to go to the backend first and activate the plugin. So come down here to Astra, go to dashboard, and then right here on the right, you will see starter templates. Just click on install, and it's basically a plugin actually. So now it's active, and now if we go, okay, automatically this page will open showing you kind of like how it works and so on. I'm just going to exit this page and go to the actual dashboard. Let's go back to the about page and I'll show you how it works. All right, so this is the about page. Now I'm going to click on edit page. Now, because we have the plugin installed and active, you will now see this new blue button here that says template kits. Just click inside, and now from here you'll have access to so many different types of templates. Let's say, for example, we're looking for the template for the about. I can come in right now, type in about, and there it is. Now you can see we have different templates for the about us page. And just as an example, I can go with this one right here. Okay, just as an example, and I'll click on import, And there it is. And all I would need to do from this point on would be to modify the contents of this template. So for example, I can change the image right here. I can click in here, I can click on replace and then open my media library and then upload my own image if I wanted to, things like that. I can modify the text, the headers, the background color, and so on. That's basically how the starter templates work. You have templates for other kinds of pages like the contact page, which we've already built. But let me just show you. You can see we have different types of templates in here for the contact page. We have for services as well. And just about any kind of template you can think of, you will have the template pre-built for you right here. All you need to do is choose the one that you like, import it, and then edit the actual contents for that template, publish, and you are good to go. So that's how to make use of the template kits provided by Astra. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. One last thing I want us to modify here is going to be the footer. Right now, it's pretty decent. I mean, you've got the copyright text and the year, the name of the blog, but then you've got powered by Astra WordPress theme. And maybe in certain cases, you don't want to display to the world the name of the theme that you're using. So to edit the footer, just click on customize in here. And we're going to go to the Astra settings. So what we're looking for right now is going to be right down here where you have the footer builder. Unfortunately, with the free version of Astra, you don't have access to a lot of options, unfortunately. But at least we can still modify the copyright text. So I'm going to click inside in here right now, copyright, and you can add any kind of media you want, for example. You can add your design and so on. But I'm going to go back. And what I'm looking for specifically is to actually remove this text that says powered by the Astra WordPress theme. So down here, you can see we now have this pen that we can use to edit. So I'm going to click inside now to edit the element. And then right here, we can just remove the powered by theme author. And that's basically it. All we're going to have right now will just be copyright and then current here and then the site title. I'm going to go ahead now and hit publish. And that's basically it. I'm going to close this. And let's go back and see what it looks like. And there you go, copyright 2023, passport, travel, and that is the footer. It's not the greatest looking footer, I'll be honest with you, but to actually add widgets and make the footer look really robust, you need to make use of the with the paid version. You need to make use of the paid version of the Astra theme. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. All right, so welcome to this brand new section where we're going to be working with the paid version of Astra, the Astra Pro. And before I show you the differences between the free version and the paid version on the website, I want to show you this graphical comparison. This is from the Astra website, and you can see on the left, we have the free version of Astra, and then on the right, the paid version of Astra, the different types of features available. So for example, with the paid version, you have access to premium support 24/7, access to pro updates, you have the white label, CSS file generation for speed optimization, and then you'll have access to a lot more design features, more site layouts as well. And then also the ability to build out custom headers, footers, 404 error pages. I'll show you how to do that. And then you can customize your header with a lot more options available for you. Same goes with the footer, the blog pages as well. You have access to shortcodes, WooCommerce options, and so much more. So really, in reality, the paid version of Astra is so much more powerful than the free version of Astra. I'm going to move this page away. Let me show you how it works. When you get the paid version of Astra, it's actually a plugin. It's called the Astra Pro. So you can see right here, I have the plugin active. Now you want to go to settings once you've activated the plugin. Now when you go to settings, right here, you're going to see the Astra Pro modules. So you want to activate these, only activate those that you're actually going to work with. A few of these are grayed out, like the WooCommerce, LearnDash. That's because I don't have these plugins installed. but the other modules, you can see I have them all activated. So I'm going to show you how they work. In addition, when you now go to Astra, you will see this custom layouts option that would allow you to create different kinds of layouts for your header, your footer, 4 page, and so on. I'll show you how you can do this later. But now let me give you a quick tour of the back end when it comes to customizing the theme. What I have here is the paid version of Astra, and then on the right here is the free version of Astra. So right off the bat, when you go to global as an example and you go to colors, you would see that with the free version of Astra, you only have access to like the theme color, the body text, links, and so on. But with the paid version of Astra, you can actually choose custom colors for your H1, H2, H3, all the way to H6. So you have this additional option in here. Now going back to container, with the free version of Astra, you can only control the layouts for your containers. But the big addition with the paid version of Astra is you have access to the site layout. So you can actually control how you want your entire website to be laid out. You're not just limited to the containers anymore. You can configure the layouts for the actual entire website. So this is very, very, very powerful. You have access to 4 different types of layouts: the full width, max width, padded, and of course fluid as well. Let me show you some other options in here. All right, for the header builder, you'll have access to the sticky header. With the free version of Astra, you only have access to one particular kind of header, which is the transparent header. But with the paid version, you'll have access to the sticky header. Now, if I was to click inside sticky header and I say, let's stick the primary header as sticky, now you will notice that when I begin to like scroll down, you will see that the header is now sticky. It sticks to the top. So certain kinds of web designs, they prefer when the header is sticky. So if you're looking to build your website to have a sticky header, you will have this option available for you. And of course, you can do other things like disable or enable the shrink effect. You can hide when scrolling down. You can even choose to have a different logo specifically for the sticky header if you wanted to. So you do have that option. Let me uncheck this one. Let's go back. And then you'll have access to like the blog options. You have access to so much more options for like the blog page, blog archive, the container layout, and so on. I don't want to spend too much time here because I'm going to show you in the very next video how you can create a new kind of blog page with the paid version of Astra. So let me skip this for now. And of course, like your footer builder as well, you're going to have access to a lot more options with the paid version of Astra. So basically, the bottom line here is that with the paid version of Astra, you will have access to a lot more options for configuring your site layouts, your typography, your color, and so much more. So that's kind of like a quick tour of the paid version of Astra. Join me in the next video where I will now show you how we can create a newly improved blog page specifically with the paid version of Astra. Let me now show you how you can customize the default blog page with the paid version of Astra. Notice that I have added the blog link back to the main menu, and remember that we created the articles page to be our own custom blog page primarily because we didn't have that many options for displaying our posts in a grid format like what we have here. But with the paid version of Astra, we have access to that setting. So let me show you how we can do that with the paid version of Astra. So right from here, I'm going to go over here to blog, go to blog archive. And right now you can see we have 6 different types of container layouts, but this is where things get very interesting. The blog layout. Notice that here you have 3 different types of layouts. You have the traditional layout where you have the featured image on top and then the accept below. But we have layout 2 where you will have the featured image on the right and then the contents of the post on the left, and then you'll have the vice versa for layout 3. However, if I was to go with layout 1, I will now have access to this grid layout format similar to the one we have on the articles page, and from here I can go with 3 columns which is what I typically prefer. So right now, it's not really displaying the way we want it to because we do have the narrow width selected for the container layout. So I'm going to go with the default layout now. So we have a bit more space to now display our posts in this particular kind of grid format. And that's what you can do with the paid version of Astra. But coming back down here, let me show you some very, very interesting things you can actually still do. Here, you can go with the masonry layout. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the masonry layout. It can be a little bit, how will I describe it? A bit messy sometimes. But if you like the masonry layout, you do have that option in here. You can also enable the date box. Let me show you how this works. When you enable the date box, you will have the date the post was published being displayed inside of the featured image on the top left hand corner, which is actually pretty cool. You can also highlight the first post. Again, all these options are entirely subjective, but when you do something like this, you'll have the first post taking up a lot more space, and then you'll have the second post being displayed in a smaller container, and so on. So you have all these options available for you. For the date box, you can go with the circular format. Let me show you how that would look like. This is the format, which again, it's entirely subjective, but me personally, I do prefer the square format, and that's basically it. So coming down in here, you also have access to a very, very interesting option, which is the read time. So if I enable this right now, enable the read time, up here where you have the meta information, it will tell the reader how many minutes it will take for them to actually read the post, which is actually very, very, very cool. So you do have this additional option available with the paid version of Astra. You have access to more options like the featured image size. You can apply a particular kind of size with a custom width and height if you wanted to. For the post pagination, you can go with the infinite scroll as well, which means that if you have like 100 posts already published on your blog page, on your blog website, basically the user will just keep on scrolling, and then the page will keep on loading all the posts until they get to the very end. And you do have access to a bit more options as well under your design, like your content color, post title font, meta font, and so much more. But like I said, with the paid version of Astra, you can customize how you want to display your post. And look, you don't even have to go with this grid format, okay? You don't have to go with my own style. You can go with the other kind of layout where you have layout 2. As an example, this is also a very, very, very good layout where you have the posts stacking up on top of each other. They're displayed in a bigger size as well. So again, it all depends on what you prefer, your particular kind of format, what you like. There is no right or wrong option when it comes to displaying your posts on the blog page. Before I round up, let me quickly show you. Let me just publish this real quick. Let me show you a few more options you have for the single posts. So let me click on Beauty of Edinburgh so we can go to an actual single post. Okay, let me go up here. Now I'm going to come down here to single post. And again, in here, you will have access to things like your container layout, your sidebar layout. You can now enable something called the author information. So at the bottom of the post, if you filled out the information of your author, like the like a brief description, brief biography, you've added the image for the author, it will now be displayed in here as well. You can automatically load previous posts as well. You can disable your single post navigation, and you have access to a few more other options like your grid column layout, the total number of related posts, and so on. So you have access to a bit more options with the paid version of Astra. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. One of the most powerful features with the paid version of Astra is the ability to create custom layouts either for your header, footer, or maybe even a 404 error page. Now, speaking of the 404 page, let me show you the default 404 page by Astra. So let's say, for example, a user wanted to go to the, let's say, hotels page. That does not exist. So let me type in hotels. press enter, and there you go. So this is the default 4.4 page. It's okay, to be honest, but it's not the best. You want to make your 4.4 pages innovative and, even if possible, funny. Why? There is a good chance that whoever is visiting a 4.4 page on your site is a first-time user, is a first-time visitor. Maybe a year ago you published a post and that post was linked in a third-party forum or a third-party website, and you've since deleted that post. Maybe this user went to that forum, saw your link, clicked on the link, go to your 4.4 page. If they see something like this, they may just say, hey, this looks like a boring website, the link doesn't work, I'm gonna go elsewhere. So your 4.4 page should try to keep the user on your website, and you can do that by either displaying like a very, very funny image or some very funny information or something like that. So let's create a custom 4.4 page for our website with the paid version of Astra. From custom layouts, I'm going to click on add new. Okay, and I'm going to go with the 4.4 link right here. Now here, I'm going to add a container, one column, click inside, go to image. And now the image I'm going to use, I actually got this image from Canva. Let me drag my Canva page right here. You can see this is the page. Basically, it's a bit funny. You know, you have basically a man with no head. So that's a bit funny. Let me drag that away, go back in here. So I'm going to use this image. Now make sure that your images are going as large as possible. Mine is 1920 by 1080. I am using a ping image. To be honest, you should probably use a JPEG format so it's less heavy, so it loads faster. Just keep that in mind. I'm going to click on select. And once again, we do have this very annoying bug with the Astra plugin that says, hey, this image has an empty alt attribute. Okay, well, I'm just going to come in here, change the image size from large to full size. And of course, that fixes the issue, apparently. Okay, one thing I will do though is I'm going to go to the container settings itself, come in here to container, and I'm going to go with full width. Okay, now one more thing, one very important feature your 4.4 page should have is a button that will direct the users back to the home page or any other custom page that you want. So one thing I will do right now is I'll add a block, add buttons right here, and I'll delete the second one. And then for this one, I'll just say in capital letters, go back to the home page. Okay, and then for the actual block itself, let's go to content. All you need right here will just be the /. This is the link that will take them to the home page. I'm going to go ahead now and hit publish. Publish once again. And there it is. Okay, now I'm going to go back in here. Let's refresh this page. And voila. Now we have something much, much better than what we had initially. Of course, you can remove like your paddings, margins to make sure that you don't have any white space around. And then if the user clicks on the go back to the home page, it will take them to the home page. And that's how you can create a custom 4.4 page with the paid version of Astra. Again, keep in mind that you can use funny images. If you go like to Google, for example, and you search for like funny 4.4 pages or images, you will see many of them. Just make sure that the images are available for you to use, because many of them will be subject to copyright protection. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Another layout I want to show you how to work with would be the layouts for the page content. Now, with the page content layout, you can actually insert specific kinds of information either in your posts or in your pages and so on. So let me show you how this would actually work. I'm going to go ahead now and click on add new. And we're going to go with the inside post page content. And just as an example, let me just quickly show you. I'm going to go with the container, one column, and let's just go with the marketing block. All right, just as an example. So I have this subscribe now, get access to premium features for free for a year. Let's assume I want to display this in the middle of my posts, right here where you have the Astra settings you have for the custom layout. You click inside, and now in here you can see the layout has been selected inside post page content. Now we can go to the location settings. It is a little bit restrictive on where you can display the particular kind of content, but you do have two options. You can either go with after a certain number of blocks or before a certain number of heading blocks. I'm going to go after a certain number of blocks, and let's go with after our 2 blocks within our post content. Now, display user conditions. You want to display this on all posts. Okay, let's assume I wanted to display this on every single post of mine, but you can choose other ones like the entire website, all singular pages, your front page, and so on. But I'm going to go with all posts, and then you can say, hey, do not display this on maybe certain posts with certain kinds of categories as an example. And then you can also choose to display this specifically for maybe like logged in users or logged out users and so on. Okay, return to post, and then of course you've got device visibility. You want to make this visible on desktop, tablet, mobile, and then you have your date and time conditions where you can display this only on a particular date, and then you can choose to hide the content on a particular date as well. But I'm going to uncheck this. All right, and I'm going to go ahead now and hit publish. And there it is. Now, this is a typical post on the site. You can see we don't have the marketing button being displayed. But now if I was to refresh the page, now you will see it displayed right here after 2 blocks. The 2 blocks being this first paragraph and this second paragraph. And now you have this marketing button being displayed. It will display on other posts as well. Let's go to enjoying the carnival in Brazil post as an example. There you can see the marketing button again. So this is how you can make use of the custom layout for your inside post content. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. And there it is. We've come to the end of this tutorial where I've shown you how to build this travel blog by making use of the Astra theme and the Spectra page builder plugin. Just a quick reminder, if you do want to buy the paid version of Astra, please do use my affiliate link in the box below. And of course, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram handle is Travels of Xander. I'll appreciate a follow right there. Thank you so much. And that's pretty much it. If you have any comments or questions, put them down in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer as many of them as I possibly can. If you enjoyed today's video, please do give it a thumbs up, share the video with anyone who may feel my benefit. And if you're new here to the channel, what are you doing? Please do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new tutorial. My name is Alex. It's been a pleasure. I'll talk to you next time, and take care. Bye-bye.